MTV, welcome to Hi YouTube, welcome to my crib. Come on in. I'm so sorry, but if you're a millennial and you have never wanted to say that introduction, yes, welcome to the updated house tour. Oh look, there's also me, because we've just put that on in the background. I'm going to give you an updated tour. I'm going to give you a little insight in what it's like to live in a country town house, specifically a GROH house, which is government provided roles that are within like a key worker type thing. So like police, teachers, hospital staff, etc, etc. That is what we have been provided through the international teaching pool through the Department of Education of WA. For the last time I did this, the house was entirely empty. We had just got the keys. We were living in a chalet from the caravan park, which is around the corner here in Moora. And it's not that there's anything wrong with those things, it's just that we had already got to a point where we were like, we really needed our stability. We needed to start building our roots into a home. When I first went round this house and I was opening cupboards and doors, I felt like the freaking boogeyman was going to jump out at me. My nervous system was just like, bugs, bugs, bugs. Let's have a look inside the wardrobes. Please don't be a spider. Oh, there's a spider. Jesus. And now it's so funny. I was backing up and there were spiders and I was just like, how you doing? No drama about it. But if you want to watch that, I'll leave the link in the description, because honestly, me then and me now are two different people. Yeah, if you want to stick around to the end, I will be breaking down the costs of what it is to live here, what our outgoings look like. So let's see if you could live here, shall we? First up is outside of the house. Now this property is actually really quite big. It has the sloped front, it's got a really big front yard and the driveway, which is great. You can fit about 4 cars on here, which is really, really handy. We really had to get used to the front of the house with like the netted doors and the red front and the red floor, but it is growing on us, it's fine. In the entryway, I've got my absolutely gorgeous Anthropology haunted houses, and a lot of our furniture in the house that you'll see is from Temple and Webster. I love how this space looks lit up at night. There isn't actually a hall light, which I find really bizarre because it gets really dark. There also isn't any plug sockets at the front of the house, so I have to use a lot of like our little battery things and the candles, but you know, it is what it is. So then you walk into the main room, which is the living room, dining and the kitchen. The living room space, it is like still a bit of a work in progress. Like we've only been here 6 months, but I think what I've managed to do in 6 months is making it feel like a home with our photos up that we had in the UK. This was a photo shoot that we had with the kids and I just absolutely adore all the photos in it, so it made it feel instantly more homey. The kitchen, I think there's tons that I would love to do with the kitchen, but again, because we're renting it, we're not really going to touch it. But what I will say is that the pantry is my absolute living soul and joy of this house. It's the best thing ever. Anything that we have done in this space is just putting a little bit of colour in with some photos that we've hung up, and we've really gotten into movie nights as a family, so we've got the Ninja Slushie machine, and honestly 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Outside into the garden, we've got this patio set that our friends amazingly gave us for free because their parents were getting rid of it, and it was funny because it was the exact one that I had in my basket at Temple and Webster. But you can see how much space we actually have in this garden, and again, like if we weren't renting it, we would do so much with it. Like we've got so many things that we have to stop ourselves from doing. Ignore the fact that 2 fence panels have fallen down in a storm. There is apparently someone coming to fix this. However, everything takes a little bit longer out here, so we do currently have direct view into our neighbour's garden at the minute. We've also got our laundry, which you can access from the side, so the laundry room has a door out into this little path as well, which is really handy. We just really love it. It's honestly like 4 times the size of the garden we had in the UK, and the kids absolutely love it because they have so much free reign. With our living room space, we got our big massive corner unit sofa from Comfort Style, which is a store that's in Moora, but they also have them in Perth, and it was great because we got free delivery. They went down on the Wednesday, collected it and then delivered it to us, and we love it. It's so comfy. We actually got our second sofa, which you'll see in the movie room in there as well. I love to bring a lot of light into this. We've got my Christmas lights up because it's been winter, obviously it's been cold and dark, and the candles, everything just makes it feel a lot warmer, and I've loved bringing in like gold accents as well. So then from this point that you'd have seen from the hallway goes into the kids room and then also the laundry room. So this is just some artwork that we put up. I got this from Kmart. It's a textured canvas and I've been obsessed with making these myself. You'll probably see them on my Instagram if you follow me there. But then we go into the laundry room, and don't judge me, I didn't put the laundry away. It is clean and folded, it just needs to get put away. The bathroom, however, I just can't get behind the fact that there's no toilet in the bathroom. I know what everyone says, well, you don't want to be doing the toilet when you're in the bath. This is why we have separate bathrooms, you know, like a separate WC. But when you've got kids, I just generally find that I need a toilet in the bathroom, especially when they're like, Mum, I need to do the toilet, and they're in the bath. Kids at the minute are sharing a bedroom, which they have found a lot more comfortable. I've got their pictures hanging up, they've got their blankets, they've got the TV in here. They just find it a lot safer, I think, to get used to things. The minute that we put some photo frames up in here, it immediately felt again more like home. There is also a separate bedroom down the kids' room, but it's currently being used as a storage room, so I'm not going to show you that. But this is our cinema room. This had a green wall when we moved in here. It's the only room in the house that we have painted, but it costs so much to paint that we just haven't brought ourselves to do anywhere else in the house. But it did look immediately so much fresher when we gave it a white paint. So I feel like I do want to do that to the whole house. But again, it cost about $180 just to paint this one room. I love this room though because I feel like it's got the most personality in it. We spend so much of our time in here watching movies on the projector with the Ninja Slushie, and we love it. Then across from the movie room, we've got our main bedroom. So we have our ensuite in here with the shower, and then we have our bedroom. I just feel like it's such a great size. We have a king size bed and it fits the side tables. We did used to have 2 lamps. The kids broke one of them recently. Let's just keep that real. I'm not gonna lie, the essential oils diffuser is life for me because that just the lavender in that just calms me down immediately. I have my own jelly cat because they're so comforting. They really are. The beanbag in here, not meant to live in here permanently, but it was just making up too much room in the cinema room, so I've popped it in here for now. However, I do find that my husband is using it as a bit of a clothes rail at the minute, so it definitely needs to go. But we've tried our best in here again, just with like the little accents and decor to make it feel really homey. And some pictures from us and the song that we had at our wedding. This was an anniversary gift that Mikey gave me as well. So when it comes to renting in Moora, there aren't any properties currently publicly listed. I'm sure there probably are some in town, but this was one that came up a couple of months ago when I first did this video, and around about for a 4 bed it was like $750. But again, you're really doubling the size of the property when you come up here. For sale though, there is quite a few. The guidelines are, I don't know, they're a bit skewed because for 1,000 square meter property, 4 bedroom, you can get anywhere from like 350 up to about 750. It just really depends on the kind of condition of the house. This one I would say is in a bit more of a modern condition than some of the houses here. For us, we live in a GROH house. They do all tend to look the same. They might just have a different layout. Some of them on the front of here have 2 front doors, which one goes into the main living room and kitchen, and then the other one is into a hallway space. I don't really understand the point of it, but yeah. This is where it gets interesting because this is what's available to buy in Perth at the minute. I looked at Ellenbrook because that was the closest suburb to us. But a third to maybe a half of the size of the plot that you get in the house, you're looking at 700 and plus, 800 plus. And I just think it really makes you want to die inside a little bit thinking about paying that much. However, something that I did look at was Gingin, which is about an hour away from us and it's about 40 minutes away from Perth. And for 1,000 square meter property, you're looking at the same prices. So for compared to the city, you're getting more than double the size of the house and the land, the same if not cheaper the price, which I think has been a really big pull and why I think a lot of people have chosen to, because like I was saying earlier, there's like a baby boom in countries at the minute. And I just feel like maybe that's why there's just more of an option there. You know, in Gingin, you're able to get Coles delivery. Things are a bit easier to get access to, like contractors, maintenance, that sort of thing. So I feel like there has been a big pull on places like Gingin and Bindun. And this was a new build development that I saw when I was taking Ella to a recent dentist appointment. Because again, out in the country, we have to go to mobile dental vans and ours is currently at Gingin. And I found this new build development and I honestly I signed up for updates on it because I felt like for what you get for your money there, you're only 40 minutes away from Ellenbrook. They're building this whole new shopping retail park. I just thought, you know something, it could be a real genuine option for us. And when I was looking at the houses, we could get 1,000 or even 2,000 square metre properties, a 5-bedroom house, and it still would be less than $800,000. And I just thought, you can't go wrong, especially when you get coals delivered there as well. So, you know, current problem here, we still have to go to do our food shop. Okay, so now for the bit that everyone's been waiting for. How much it costs us living in a GROH house through the benefits package that the Department of Education puts teachers through. How much does it actually cost us to live here? What the Department of Education does when you are living in a GROH house or like a regional house is, because we didn't have the luxury of going onto Domain's website and picking a rental that was available and picking it to suit our needs, etc. Because we were just flat out given this house, when we got told that our visa was approved, we got told our address and that was it. There was no pictures, there was no link to view the house, there was nothing like that. The first thing we did was go on Google Street View and have a look to see what the house looked like from the outside. We then asked them if they had any photos of the interior of the house so that we knew roughly what size of beds to go for. So we knew that it was a 3-bedroom house and that was it. Because of that fact, when you are in a rural area or a remote area, depending on the schools that you're placed, they will pay half of your rent. So we pay $1,000 per month. That's $500 every 2 weeks, compared to $750 every week that you would pay living in the city, or even, you know, people that are out here, there's rentals. I think the one that I showed was $750. That one example, I think, is on the higher end. I think there's definitely more around the 400 mark. But then again, they're like $400 a week. That's what rent tends to be. So the fact that we pay $1,000 a month massively helps the fact that we've only got one car, because we only need one car. Mikey walks to the end of the street and he's at work. I take the car to drop the kids off or to playgroup. When it comes to our utilities, the only things that we pay for are water, electric and internet. The gas is a gas bottle which we have to go and get. They deliver it to us. However, being in a GROH house, the gas bottles are free, whereas I don't know how much they are normally, like maybe $100 and something. And I would say that we kind of go through a gas bottle like maybe 8 weeks, maybe every 8 weeks we need to change it. So our water, I think, is only about $130, and that's every 3 months. And then our electric bill was again less than $200, and that's for 3 months again. So it really doesn't cost a whole bunch. Our internet is $90 a month. That's realistically all we pay for. And I feel like it's just really, really doable on that one wage that we have. Anything else that I get, I invest into different accounts, and it goes into saving, and it's for treats for us when we're out and about. We are very, very lucky and fortunate as a family to be able to do that. I also think, given the fact that houses just don't tend to come up all that often for rent, I feel like we got so lucky with the house that we have. There's all in this area, they're all very, very similar. Very similar layouts, very similar decor. I think there's things that definitely could be updated, you know, certain sink taps, faucets, things like that maybe have a bit of wear and tear that could be replaced, but all in all, it feels more modern than most, and it's really clean, it's really bright, it's really open plan. Very pleased and very grateful for the house that we do have, and it suits us perfectly. It has more than enough space that we need. We had no idea what to expect when we were like, we're going to get given a house in a relatively rural area, you know, what's it going to look like? When you're driving up to Moora, there's nothing but trees and fields, and then all of a sudden, bam, you just hit this town and you're like, where did this come from? It's like the lost city of Atlantis. And I think to Aussies, that would be like, oh yeah, that's just perfectly normal. But when you're coming from an outsider's perspective, it's just so different. It's so different. Like, there's no point of reference for this, even if you drove to a countryside town in the UK. So if you actually go on the Department of Education's website and you have a look at the teaching pool, and I'll put the link in the description, but it basically shows you a benefits calculator you get access to if you take a role within a certain school in a certain area. So different areas, the more remote that they are, the higher the country living allowance that you'll get is. But I think there are definitely some areas, because they are so remote, that you don't pay anything in rent. When we were looking at the different areas, Mikey just applied for like any job that came up. We definitely did our research of like, is this something that we think that we could do as a family? Because there was one job that he was offered before this one, but it was down the very bottom, like sort of near Esperance a little bit. I wouldn't even call it a town. It was like a truck stop. There was like a petrol station. I think there was a post office. There was maybe a handful of houses, and we just thought to ourselves that wasn't something that we'd be able to do. I don't even think there was an actual grocery store or supermarket in that town. I think the closest one was an hour, whereas yes, we drive to Perth to do a food shop, but at least we have Foodworks and we have IGA. That town didn't have that at all, so it's definitely worth, if that's something that you're looking at, really consider like going on Google Maps and scouting out the area and being like, how far is it for certain things? If you're within like an hour of something, or like we are to Perth, like an hour and 40, really doable. But yeah, if it's like a town where there's absolutely nothing in it, then it might be a bit harder with kids when you need to get something quickly or grab something. I just feel like we've really grown into Moora, really come to understand how many facilities are available here, and even more so that we are living in a town where there's people who really fight for those things to stay here, when perhaps governments are like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to tear down a hospital. Moora doesn't need a hospital. It's a work in progress, but for 6 months, I'm really happy with what we've managed to achieve. And stay tuned, subscribe to the channel for how this place is going to transform in Halloween and Christmas time, because I am planning something that the whole community can perhaps enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.